Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today we're going to get into a frequently asked question video, which means we're going to go to the comment section of my channel. We're going to find at least 3 comments from 3 different videos where we can find something to get into. And maybe it's not always the case that these are warm and fuzzy. Sometimes there's spice and fire. So we'll see what we get, salt or sweet, but let's get into it now. I haven't looked at it today, so I don't know what we're getting into. Let's find out together. Okay, Bananas, appreciate you, brother. 2 big comments. Let's see, they're both in the same video. I'm gonna take this as like one conversation. Looks like you got something to say, and I really respect Bananas. He's an active participant in my channel as well as this space. I see him on various lives, and I really appreciate it. Plus, he has he doesn't always agree with me, and he feels some apprehension around where we're at with Splinterlands. At least that's my take on him. So I like that. Maybe we're gonna see some sort of difficulty or challenge here. Let's find out together. Banana says, okay, so this was in response to my video that came out last night talking about the new Hall of Legends characters, which are these 2, Rick Launimon or whatever, and her name, Rune Arcanist. Rick Launimon, long TLDR, looks awesome. I think this will be powerful, really impactful, might be worth the price point. Mind you, it's going to be a $400 US dollar card, right? Because you need 11 BCX, 550,000, you're 450 US probably. Arcanist is going to be cheaper, but you're still probably 240 US dollars to get this card. And I actually don't think she's worth it. And so that's what I said. Now let's see what Bananas thought. Rick Flairman or whatever seems a lot cooler. That's the Rick Launimon or whatever. I saw it used in a live Ghost Card tournament. Aftersound, Lorcus, and Tails hosted yesterday. I'm still not going to buy it, though. I'm not buying anything of the promo cards. Well, that's a lie. I have a few BCX of some, but that's it. No card is a must for $440 as far as I'm concerned. I don't care if its ability is you win no matter what. I like that. That's a good one. I do think there's some cards that are worth the price tag of $450. In fact, I was looking at the marketplace today with respect to Rebellion. Like I'm increasingly convinced that Rebellion is going to be absolutely necessary for anybody who wants to play at the top levels. For anybody who really wants to get the most out of Splinterlands, it's going to happen in, at least for the foreseeable future, in the Modern League. I could see a pathway where Wild ends up being the place where most people want to go, for reasons I don't want to fully explain here, but I have in previous videos. Right now, real people want to play in Modern. Those who do want to play and don't want to just bot. And so that means that Rebellion is crucial. Now, today, it's crucial because it's one half of how you succeed. You need Chaos, you need Rebellion. But Rebellion ends up being less important today than it will be in the future because Chaos is so cheap. For $600-700 you get a max Chaos set, and that alone can allow you to compete in Modern League at a fairly high level, maybe Diamond, probably Diamond. And so then and so you don't need thousands of dollars of cards, but today that's true and tomorrow it won't be. When Rebellion moves out because of when Chaos moves out because of Conclave Arcana, we will see immediately, I think, a doubling of the cost to play in Modern. I think it goes from something like $10,000 SPS cards included for a top level deck to maybe $20,000 US dollars to go to a top level deck in Modern. And that moment is going to mean that right now, Rebellion, which people maybe are a little bit still sleeping on, is the moment to get ready. Because look at it this way. If Rebellion is $7,000 for a max depth, but Conclave Arcana is 10 or 15, which is probably true depending on how you acquire it. If you buy cards, it could be more. If you buy packs, it could be less. But then you have to factor in luck, etc. And so I do believe 10 is like a logical number for Conclave Arcana. And so that's the more expensive option to have high level success in Modern. Well, this therefore is a discount and an affordable way to succeed in that powerful and rewarding league. And so I'm convinced there are key cards that are worth investing in that are across a long time horizon that are hundreds of dollars now and will probably be more later. I recently bought a max level Lorcus. I think I paid $25 to $28 per BCX. As you can see, it's a little higher today. I bought a max Elias Pruitt for about $15 per, it's a little higher today. Nidhogger, I got lucky and I got a level 3 and a 1 gold foil, which I haven't yet liquidated, but I do one day hope to liquidate and finish off my Nidhogger. My point is, these summoners are that powerful. Like, I would pay hundreds of dollars for these cards. Tofu today, there's a max level Tofu, $5.99. That's the most expensive summoner in Modern League, I think. And yet I think it might be worth it. I'm playing at a high level in Diamond right now. I've literally played, I think I played 80, 90 games in the last 24-hour period. I'm not exaggerating. I got energy through chest purchases, etc. And the times I lose, it's because I don't have Grimbarden Smith, Mantaroth, or Tofu. And now there's a few other key crucial cards too, but just to come back to your comment, I think there are certain cards that are worth it, worth the price of admission. Tofu is maybe part of that. Now, to come back a little bit to the idea that you're also expressing, you're saying a little bit two things. One, $440 is too much to spend on one card, but then you're also implying that you're okay with not winning every match. Like, you're saying, I don't need to win every match, even if you give me a card that was literally you win no matter what. And you're obviously being hyperbolic, but the tone and the implication is that I'm okay with not having all the best cards as long as I have enough good cards to have some fun and some success. And that is totally the best approach. So I agree with you in terms of how you're aiming at, because everyone has a limited budget. Tofu would make you better if you don't have Tofu. Does that mean it's worth $600 US? No. I mean, yes and no. It depends who's answering the question. It depends whether they've, where they're at within their deck building. Because if Tofu is the last piece they're missing, it will make their deck better. But probably, like most people, Tofu is one piece among thousands of pieces that you're missing. And missing might even be a bit of an exaggeration, because you might have a level 4 when you need a level 6, or you might have a level 6 when you need a level 10. And so you can make do with what you got. And that's one of the beautiful things about a game like Splinterlands. You can have success and enjoy the game and struggle to win. And you're trying to extract the most for the minimum. And that's part of the game within the game. It's not just a collectible card game with an auto brawler mechanic. It's also this economics game where you understand, pros and cons of any sort of acquisition, as well as costs, outlays, as well as possible incomes that might come from any of these asset investments. Because I do think of them as assets. I do think of them as investments. And so, yeah. So I agree with you. And yet I would say that there's some cards that are worth it. The question is, who's answering the question? And then let's see if this is semi-related. Yeah, that first card doesn't seem good at all compared to the rest of them. I haven't bought any significant number of the promo cards, but I certainly wouldn't buy that one. It's hard to imagine they could make every single one of the promo cards crazy good, though. And anyway, I'm glad to see this one isn't that good. I've been worried about how many more battles I'm going to lose since I don't have these promo cards. Yeah, let's just tie that quickly together with a little bow hunter for you, Bananas. Appreciate you. I would say that, yes, I agree. This card is... I stand by what I said in that video. I don't think this card's impressive. I like the lore. I like the art. I like, but its stats are too low. The damage output is too low. And yet it's like something of a tank because of the hit points and the scavenge. The cripple is largely, in my opinion, irrelevant because it's just not going to add up meaningfully. You've got one attack per turn. When I see cripple and like it, it's like, who's got cripple and I like? Drybone Raider, who has 4 attacks per turn. And so that's when I start thinking, wow, cripple. Or the Dampier Infiltrator, which is a double strike with cripple. Do you see what I mean? Like one attack and cripple, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's going to help. But, it's just, it's a needle in the haystack. It's not enough. It's not enough. This is the big thing. The phase ward, of course, that's going to be cool and powerful. But I don't think that's worth $250 US. And frankly, for 7 mana, I'd rather put somebody else in that slot. This card, however, is awesome. And I do wonder if this is going to be one of those cards that you're going to run into and you're going to wish you had. But the cool thing about Splinterlands is, like we alluded to a moment ago, you don't need to have everything. You can have success at your level. We need to find confidence and joy in the moment that we're in. We're not going to be the top dog. Can we be satisfied with the earnings and the joy that's available to us with the deck we have that we can afford? If you can't, frankly, you're not going to find more joy by getting more cards. It's like the attitude of like enjoying what you've got is going to be that place where you're going to actually stay here longer. If you're always striving to buy the next card and the next card and the next set because you want to collect them all or because you want to be the best of the best. I just personally don't see that. And that's not been how I've stayed here for so many years. How I've stayed here is by enjoying the quote unquote trivial rewards that came across time. I don't mind that the SPS are dirt cheap. I don't mind that the Soulbound reward cards have no value, quote unquote, no value, because I actually see the long-term play and what these things mean for me across time. And I'm not concerned about prices having fallen for SPS or prices having fallen for, but that's a bit of the confidence that comes out of I'm just enjoying the moment. So anyways, thanks Bananas, appreciate you. Okay, let's get 2 more comments from 2 other videos. Okay, I did it in, this is a live. Oh, Hoda, thanks brother. Dwayne, you're the best. Don't give up a second, give a second thought to anyone commenting on your appearance. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I'm okay with me. And yeah, I'm like, I'm working on me, but like, man, I just think it's funny when people comment on that. But thanks to Hoda, I appreciate you. Let's see. Arcade says, need a rust or a double rust Queen Massilia and a Wailing Wraith. I forget what the context of that would have been, but I know I absolutely double rust can be really powerful, especially when you know your opponent has or may have armor strike. Okay. Nicola. Looks like he's got some pushback on Night Stalker. Let's break down that Night Stalker. 3 battles per day, 2 wins with it. Let's say 20 SPS per win, $200 card cost. You need to play 1,294 days to break even to keep the card. Great data. Love this comment. I appreciate the pushback. I love the Night Stalker. I did a video talking about how powerful it was. I think for the first 2 weeks, I played it 5 matches per day. I think that was the data I saw. It might have been 5.2 or something like that, which was more than I was playing Dr. Blight. Now, I'll say though, even if I played it the most of all my cards, which was true for the first 2 weeks, your point still rings true, right? Like, even if I got to play it 10 times a day, which is unheard of. There's no card in the game that the top players play 10 times a day. I don't think. Or am I, maybe Tofu gets, you know what I mean? My point is, the best of the best cards don't work in every circumstance. And so you're right. In some sense, you're right. Like, you're not, the number of games you need to play that thing to quote unquote pay it off, to make it worthwhile, or to break even, especially if SPS is your only consideration, it's crazy. It's ludicrous. It's forever. That's not the only reason that I own a card. The SPS return is not the only reason I own a card. And I think you know that, but let's see what the rest of what you say here. Let's assume you're right about the auction card price being 1,000. Let's say it earns 40 SPS per win with similar play-win ratio per day. It shows that will take 4 years of playing every day to break even without selling the card. Okay. So you are really strongly just kind of pushing on the ROI of a given asset. And I think it's important to acknowledge that you're both right, but I think you're wrong in a meaningful way. The correct piece is that, yeah, if all you're measuring is the SPS returns, and if you're absolutely, then you're right. Then it's going to take years and years to pay off. But you provide no allowance whatsoever for the entertainment value. You provide no allowance whatsoever for the joy of collection. People like collecting. I like collecting. Maybe that's not a piece of your story, but we like buying these assets because we just like collecting things. Why do people buy stamps? Why do people buy coins? Why do people buy Pokemon cards? Like the Pokemon card, even if you go win battles in real life, or Magic the Gathering cards, even if you go win battles, it's not just about the financial return, right? It's about the enjoyment of having them, of holding them, of looking at them, of, in this game, using them. And so I actually like this game. And so it's not just a financial return. And so the ROI is not the sole consideration. But then additionally, you're not calculating merits that I earn and what that might mean for gladiators, because those have a value to me. You're not considering the tournaments or the guild brawl earnings that I might get. You're not considering the future price appreciation that's possible with a card asset. I think, in fact, you're assuming it will go down. Or you didn't say that, right? But you certainly don't acknowledge that a card could go up in price. And it depends on what time horizon you want to look at. I know we want to say things like Chaos Legion, they just went down to the right. But what about cards more recently, like Rebellion? Tofu was selling for 20, now it's 60. So there are cards and at different times and across different time horizons that have seen price stability or growth. And I'm convinced, and I can't fully articulate this here again, because I've said this so many times. And I think you, Nicola, you actually probably know my arguments. I actually think cards will appreciate in the future because I think player-based growth will happen. And then finally, you talk about SPS paying off your earnings based on, I guess, presumably current price points. But if you said 20 S per S per, now you're being really gracious when you say 20 S per S per win, because frankly, it's probably, for me, it's more like 10. And so I want to understand where you're being gracious, and I also want to push back where you're being maybe excessively hard. The hard part is you're acknowledging SPS at this price point. I'm predicting that SPS goes up in the future. That's not advice. That's my opinion. And so don't take it as investment advice. Recognize that Dwayne's talking about how he perceives the income provided by Splinterlands. I don't look at every SPS as 0.0089, right? US dollars. I look at every SPS as like $1. I really do. And so long-term perspective, if that becomes a reality, wow. That's why I say the phrase, there can be a retroactive raise, because you talk about the Night Stalker, costing X amount of money and it not generating enough revenue to merit it. But that's based on current price points. And if all I do is earn SPS by playing Night Stalker in this time, at this day, with this SPS price point, but then I get to a future where I've got a huge bag of SPS that's been accumulated while SPS was dirt cheap, but then the SPS pumps, I never sold it for a penny. And so is it worth a penny or is it worth 10 cents? Is it worth a penny or is it worth $1? The real question is, how much SPS how many units of SPS do I have? And when am I selling it? Because I'm not selling it now. And so it's absolutely conceivable, if SPS even makes it to 10 cents, that this thing pays itself. If SPS makes it to 10 cents, which a lot of people seem to think is plausible, and I think bigger is possible, you get to a place where you start to recognize that the financial ROI is possible. But again, and final note, I'm not just here for ROI. I'm not telling you guys to watch or get interested in Splinterlands because ROI. I think this game's fun and rewarding. I think it's fun and it has a future. And that is a different starting point than maybe it sounds like you're coming from, Nicola. And I do appreciate what you're saying. And I think you're pointing to something accurate. Your argument would hit harder if my main concern was ROI, or even if that was what I talked about on the channel. That is not what I talk about on the channel. I say almost every single episode that I like Splinterlands. I think it's revolutionary because it's fun and rewarding. And those rewards are trivial in nature. Across a long time horizon, you can earn many, and the accumulation of those assets at a low price point can spike and exponentially grow in some radical way as prices go up, which can create a retroactive raise for everything you acquired while it was cheap. That's true of your SPS. It's true of your cards. It's true of your soulbound reward cards, which, quote unquote, allegedly have no price or value, right? You have to unlock them. And then when you unlock them, you can't sell them for even the unlock price. Yeah, today. But that's not my prediction for where this goes in the future. And so my vision isn't just how quickly can I pay off my Night Stalker, but how much fun I'm going to have with it. And long term, is it going to bring that joy and sort of give me those opportunities across time? Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I hope this response is satisfying and also received in the way it's meant, which is just a great conversation between two people who feel differently about a topic I feel passionate about. Get one more. Okay. So Conclave immediately. I talked in this video about whether or not moving to Conclave right away is better than having a mini set. And I forget the fullness of my thesis in that video, but I'm pretty sure it was around the idea that a mini set just doesn't make a lot of sense moving Chaos Legion out of Modern probably makes the most sense. And so that's almost the greater incentive why I want to move to the next big set. And let's see what Crypto Beaver had to say about that. We still have the promo cards ongoing and soon the auction, mainly for whales. I was thinking of a mini set only purchasable with SPS, but Matt pretty much said no to a mini set. If we were to do a full set in April, it would be nice to do a Christmas type low price card offer, all 4 rarities, so that all players could participate and have some fun with the promo using SPS only. A card burning event around the same idea. Burn some DEC along with 5 cards of a rarity of a new card. The same rarity would be a very cool end of year burning event. But I might be dreaming. Okay, so I think you're saying 2 things. One, you're talking about like affordable options that every player could enjoy. And then you're also talking about like a burning event. And I think burning events are exciting and fun and worth considering. And I hope we keep doing them because we always have, whenever there's any removal of an excess supply, that can like really set things up for future gain. So that's fun and exciting. And I often have participated those in the past, and I probably will again in the future. So I would be down with that. I like that idea, something like that anyways. But the bigger conversation piece that I think is worth diving onto, Crypto Beaver, is this idea of like, what did you say? It would be nice to do a Christmas type low price card offer so that all players could participate. That's, I understand the desire and I understand maybe the hope. We like Splinterlands. We want to buy assets in Splinterlands. We want to support the game. We want to have fun with new cards. We want to refresh our own gaming experience by having access to new NFTs that interact with our other existing NFTs in fresh new ways. I get that totally. But I have to say that this idea that the promo cards are not affordable, I reject it because, and that's coming from a person who says like, I'm not buying Rune Arcanist. It's too much. I probably can't afford Rick Launamon, even though I actually may buy it. So how do I hold those 2 thoughts? Well, the idea is that I don't need to spend 550,000 DEC to get a max Rick Launamon. I can spend 50,000 DEC and get 1 BCX. I don't have to spend $250 US to get a max Rune Arcanist. I can buy, 25 of them and whatever that equates to and have like a level 4, I think. And so, yeah, I'm not going to have the fullness of what this is, but I'm going to have a new NFT that I can play with. And it's going to be affordable. And if those numbers aren't affordable, 1 BCX of the legendary or, 25 of Rune Arcanist, what about 1 Rune Arcanist BCX? That's what I did with the Mana Warden anyways. I wanted that Mana Warden, or I wanted the Shield Warden to drop a shield on some of my cards. I got him. I got him at level like 5 or something. Level 3. And so my point is, you don't need to have the max to be able to participate. And so they are affordable if you come in at lower levels. And then the other piece I would want to say to that too is, if we want affordable cards that everybody can unlock, like recognize that that's already here. Right, guys? Like, we get Soulbound reward cards through our time and effort, and only people who are here get them. Like, it's only those who are playing the game today that are ever going to have Drybone Megalodon, that are ever going to have Continuum Seer. I know there's some on the marketplace, but you see my point. These assets are earned through play. They're earned by those who are here. These are the assets that are affordable and for everyone and accessible. And by the way, meaningful. Like, these cards are awesome. And so I understand what you're saying. And I think a lot of people feel the way you feel. But the thing is, if these cards have scarcity, they have value. If everyone gets a copy, then they have no value. If everyone gets a copy, they have no value. You could maybe imagine, like, if I was going to think through any sort of promo card like that, just off the top of my head, a way to give everybody something they can enjoy, you could go ahead and say, SPS stakers, you're going to get another card just for fun, one time, not every month, not every year, just one more time, just because. Merry Christmas. And you're all going to get, if you have for every 10,000 you get a staked, you get 1 of the card, or for every 1,000, or heck, if you have 10,000 staked, you're going to get a max copy. I don't know, like, make it everyone gets it. But here's the problem. And I hope you already feel it. Like when you get that card, everyone has it. How is it any more fun? Like you're gonna have that tool and everyone else does. The way that this game really finds its sort of excitement is when we have different toolkits and yet we're both aiming to build the same victory. One of our toolkits is going to be better, or one of our brains is going to be better, and it's going to succeed in an interesting way. That's the battle. Having the same cards across many accounts isn't actually exciting. Collectible card game element and the navigation of the tokenomics and recognizing that you can't have everything, that is why this is actually fun. That's why these potentially hold value across time, and I know it hasn't always proven so, but potentially across future will. And so that's why I wouldn't agree with you in terms of like there needs to be an affordable promo card. I think there are. There needs to be a card accessible to every player. I think there is. And so just thank you so much for the comment. I appreciate that. But yeah, I do think I disagree with you in some pretty big ways there. And I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks so much for your time and attention. I hope you're having an amazing day. God bless.